Greetings from the Philippines. We, the ministers of our countries in the East Asian region, who are in charge of sustainably managing our ocean resources, are gathered in this moment when our choices for the environment, the economy, and humanity are being challenged to carefully considered actions that will positively benefit our region in the next 10 years. We are still battling with the COVID-19 pandemic and dealing with its impacts and the effects of climate change. In 2020, the Philippines lost over $8 billion in tourism revenue and an estimated income of 31 million pesos from our coastal and marine protected areas. As a result of closures of beach resorts where we come and some MPAs are also located and low-impact activities are regulated, thus exacerbating the financing gap and marine environmental protection. In the 26th Conference of the Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change, the Philippines drummed its position that effective climate finance is built on an orchestration of grants to better prepare communities for climate change. Investment in making business for climate ready and subsidies to help renewable energy to take off. Climate change exacerbates the current pressures that our coral reefs are experiencing. Based on a study, the Philippines is estimated to lose 6% of its gross domestic product every year until 2100 if it disregards the risks associated with climate change. To address the pressures and threats, conservation and sustainable use of the ocean and marine resources are continuously being harnessed and strengthened by the Philippines. The country welcomes the application of blended protection that includes 30% coverage of both land and sea to significantly measure the equivalent effects of protection of biodiversity through strong enforcement of other conservation policies such as total ban of illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, among others. This is in consideration of further stakeholders' consultations concerning the spectrum of effective area-based conservation measures and ecologically or biologically significant marine areas. Rehabilitation of the country's coastal ecosystems, including those considered as prime tourist destinations, is being decisively pursued. The world-famous pristine beaches of Boracay were closed for 6 months to enforce foreshore easement, establishment of sewage treatment facilities, and other measures to improve water quality. The renewed image of Boracay worldwide now provides the local government and the communities with sustained tourism and livelihood. The country has started the daunting task of cleaning up and rehabilitating the Manila Bay, which draws into its shores 16 major rivers and 14 rivers outfalls. Massive cleanup and dredging of esteros, construction of solar-powered sewage treatment plants, relocation of informal settlers, and beach nourishment of the Baywalk are continuously being undertaken. Significant reductions in fecal coliform counts were recorded at several monitoring stations in 2020. Such efforts demonstrate the whole of government an integrated approach in addressing marine pollution, which contributes to the fragile situation of our oceans. To promote source-to-sea solutions, the Philippines adopted the National Plan of Action for the Prevention, Reduction, and Management of Marine Litter to provide a blueprint for the reduction of marine litter toward zero waste in Philippine waters by 2040. The implementation of the National Action Plan aims to achieve sustainable consumption and production in the areas of resource conservation, efficiency, and cleaner production, waste management, and sustainable business and lifestyle. To promote the blue economy, the Philippines continues to support sustainable tourism, where we ensure the protection of the coastal and marine habitats, resources, and water quality, as well as to promote viable livelihood options for coastal communities. The country also embarks on sustainable fisheries and aquaculture through, number one, adaptive aquaculture and supplementary livelihood programs for fisheries. Number two, integrated multi-species aquaculture. And number three, electronic catch documentation and traceability for sustainable tuna fisheries. The country further invests in more green ports using renewable energy, solar panel lighting, and the establishment of shore reception facilities. Apart from promoting traditional ocean-based industries, we need to scale up implementations of our programs to include conservation of forests and other terrestrial ecosystems and accelerate the restoration to abate land-based pollution that eventually finds its way to our oceans. Support initiatives for emerging blue economy industries like marine renewable energy, marine technology, and green shipbuilding. Further, we need to measure the blue economy for evidence-based policy by doing economic valuation of our ocean-based industries, coastal and marine ecosystems and resources, and produce the second National State of Oceans and Coast Report. The Philippines is promoting policy coherence through the proposed Integrated Coastal Management Act, which adds to pursue policy and functional integration to support the country's achievement of sustainable development of the coastal and related ecosystems, food security, and poverty alleviation, and to reduce the vulnerability to climate change impacts. Being the most vulnerable region in the world to climate change, we need to enhance strategic partnership under the existing mechanism which the PEMSEA or PEMSEA provides. We need to maximize the shared responsibility among us country and non-country partners to strengthen such action-oriented regional platform. PEMSEA offers a pathway for establishing meaningful partnership, effective follow-up and review, and inclusive sharing of experiences across stakeholders and countries. And so, therefore, in this Seventh Ministerial Forum, the Philippines not only reiterates its from commitment to the implementation of the PEMSEA Roadmap 2030 and the SDS-SEA Implementation Plan 2022 to 2027, but also urge country partners to embrace the Preah Sihanouk Ministerial Declaration on building coastal resilience to climate change impacts in East Asia and to contribute in advancing the global sustainable development agenda. The Philippines joins everyone in congratulating and sincerely thanking His Excellency Minister Samal, the chair of the East Asian EAS Congress 2021, the Ministry of Environment of Cambodia, and the PEMSEA Resource Facility led by Executive Director Jaime Gonzalez for organizing and hosting this year's EAS Congress despite the COVID-19 pandemic. Let us continue to demonstrate the far-reaching effects of our cooperation and partnership for pursuing transformative actions for hope, healthy ocean, people, and economy. Thank you very much. Salamat.